accountability can go right out the window if you're a woman. There's a lot of people who speak up about it, and a lot of people who are very much pushing for us to have laws that allow men at least some rights as human beings. There's a few women who said that men should not be out after a certain hour. Well, you know what? If men shouldn't be out during that certain hour, neither should women. When they say, oh, women should be allowed an hour or 2 hours a day of men not existing in their area, as in, if you're a male, you have to go hide for 2 hours. Quarantine, basically. Now, I say that we need to do the same thing for women. People like me need to be able to go out in public without being worried about being victimized by a woman just because I exist. And I don't really want to hear about your astrology bullshit or your fucking healing goddamn crystals, because the reality is I just straight don't give a fuck about your crazy cockamamie fucking bullshit. I'm a reasonable human being. It's when you are not being reasonable that we start having problems because you are getting innocent people hurt. But sure, whatever, we'll defer it and we'll blame it on the crystals, huh? It's all about the crystals, man. Astrology, what's your sign? Well, you might want to ask Jeff Foxworthy about my sign. Matter of fact, you might want to get a sign assigned to you, too. Holy shit. When the Big Dipper is in alignment with the Gemini, remember Orion's belt, something vague will happen today. Anyway, like I said, I'm playing this stuff from Chris. I think the best I can do is just press play and get out of my vehicle and go do something else while this records. I brought up that old Marine engine. He was talking about engines on bikes, but the opposed piston two-stroke, you can actually run that literally on compressed water. Water is incompressible. But oddly, it turns into steam almost immediately. You can do it with salt water. It's called, hold on a second, there's a name for it. Flash distillation. Basically, it gets smashed until it's really compressed and has a lot of heat to it, and it all turns instantly into steam. And that steam is steam distilled, obviously. Anyway, because of the makeup of it and because the high compression ratio, it's really easy to run it on water. They had at least 2 Liberty type ships that were built with these marine type engines that made it all the way from the United States to Great Britain the day they were made, going out and doing your sea trials and all that kind of stuff, and then going across the ocean with a full load. You'd think that somebody would have realized that their fuel oil wasn't going down. Of course, that was World War II, where oftentimes the fuel oil was sitting on top of a reservoir of water. Anyway, I'll get back to playing this. I know I interrupted a lot, and it sucks because it's still got an hour and a half to go.
Brad, you wet? Yeah. That's good, Tom. Yeah. Sorry. There's a velociraptor in here somewhere. No, because she's always smiling. So my girlfriend said, good. We've been together for 10 years. We just broke up like a month ago. On my birthday, so. You want to talk to training after? So is it a good birthday present? No, I made it work. I thought like she was just stop. No. Yeah, you're not allowed to leave. That's one of the things I keep trying to explain to you. Yes, you're not allowed. I don't want to. I mean, a lot of things stuck in the situation. Yeah, I do what I want. I almost believe. I saw that episode of South Park. I don't want South Park. Don't fucking lie to me, Cartman. I don't like that. You wear square pants with suspenders on them. The only thing you're missing is a pitchfork and a dart. That's true, because kids are super cheap these days. As long as you have a dozen or more and you can keep it hidden under the table, you don't have to pay tax. No, I'm not. Child labor laws are a pain in the butt. Why wasn't there child labor laws when I was a kid? I hated having to wash dishes when I was like in the States. I don't think they count the wash dishes. What? No fair. I'm gonna cry foul. Oh, wait a second. I'm an adult and I have real problems now.
Yes, I added a lot
You
of
want to hear all
sarcasm to
99
the
of them?
mix.
I'm not easy to run out or scare off. I'm scared all the time, no matter where I'm at. You know?
Alright, this is the part where the lady starts, we start talking about Tom and Molly, and she explains how she thought I was the one under the blanket behind my car. So I guess I'll press play on that and go for a walk.
Okay, I had a mental breakdown and they didn't like me after that. I was like, well, that's alright. I wasn't trying to force free hugs on you anyway. That was Tom. That was Tom. That was a guy who was trying to escape a lady named Molly. He was trying to hide from her, and he didn't want her to recognize him. So he was asking if he could hide his stuff in my car, and then he slept behind my car in a chair, and Caleb had to come out and talk to him. Yeah, I drove by, and it was like right before it started, I was like, what? Not Halloween yet, but it's close. And I know I don't think like no, I thought you know mannequin or something, and then I was yeah, I figured it all out. Yeah, well, he actually stayed in my car with me for a couple of days. We went up the mountains. I tried to help him set up his camp up there, but he's a little older in years and wasn't quite as adept as he used to be doing a lot of that stuff. And I got physical disabilities, and we were both dealing with trying to get away from a crazy lady named Molly who made a lot of our lives hell. Yes. Yep. Yeah, she gave a lot of people problems. That might have been a different lady. But what I was talking about is the gray-haired lady. Yep. She brought Rocky to me one day, and then she tried to take that very same Rocky. You know, the old guy is kind of schizophrenic if you've ever talked to him. He does stay back there from time to time, yeah. He goes back and forth between here and Bay City and a place called Garibaldi, I guess. No, not really. Most of my gas is run around in circles, all the services like gas.
Oh, in this part, she's about to look up Garibaldi because he's saying it's like 12 miles away or 11 miles away. And she was saying it was like 4 or 5 miles away. But it turned out it was like 8.6 miles away.
Maybe. I don't know. And it actually ended up getting got a Fred Myers over a situation with Molly and then another situation with trying to remember his name.
His name is Nick.
So about in between saying 4 and saying 12. Yeah, that's 5. It's 5. Yeah. It's 8.7 miles here. All right. I was thinking, I used to live here one. I think it was like 7 miles. The problem with leaving here is that I spent all my money to run around all the services around here, so I never have the money to leave. And after running around driving my vehicle everywhere, something always breaks on it or falls apart. And then I have to pay for that part to get fixed, and I'm stuck here for another month. And then there's the fact that I don't do meth or heroin or any of that, so I don't really have a place to hang out with here, being it's on my hobo, but I don't sit in with the drink dinner or the smoking hobos. They do, and there's no sober crowd. There is literally no sober crowd. Yeah. But you know, Karen's bringing that permanent shelter. They're all pretty I've been hearing that from a few people, and also about some small shelters they might be bringing in. They have houses there. Yep. Yep, and that's over by that's on the Seventh Day Adventist Parish Park. Yep. Yeah, but there's
One thing that people aren't paying attention to is how many homeless people there are versus how many of those little tiny houses they have. They have 6 tiny houses. So, out of all the homeless people here, there's only 6 tiny homes. That's not a lot of housing. But a lot of people, they want to, oh, well, there's this place you can go to and that place you can go to. You can't go to any of those places. You can't go to any of those places because they're already full. You know, one of the biggest issues is a lot of you are very selfish as far as the way you think of others. You assume that the stuff that you grew up with, like a lot of y'all younger folks, are real good with computers and real good with electronics. But a lot of us poor folks, we end up falling behind in that because although everybody else is doing it, we don't have the money for that stuff. And now when people want to transition from having actual conversations and actually listening to people to doing everything in texting and taking everything that's typed out of context and offensively, fuck this goddamn country. It's gross.
There's safety issues there with people who run it with me. I don't really get along with people who don't do their jobs as mandated reporters. Some of them, not everybody in the food bank place is mandated reporters, but some of them are. All of the ones in the care office are mandated reporters. So if you're an at-risk adult, or if you're a disabled adult, or a mentally ill adult.
Now, another thing I want to point out is that there's a lot of men and women out here who are homeless, and they tend to help out women more often than men by a lot. So a lot of women out here will have a different perspective than men, because there are a lot of people who are nice to women and try to help them out. There's also a lot of women out here who won't recognize people being kind to them. Any sort of kindness must mean that he's trying to take advantage of you sexually, and so on and so forth. There's guys like me who are not interested in that shit, and we end up taking the brunt of the hell because you don't want to turn in your predators, and it becomes very stupid. Also, trying to explain to a woman what it's like for a man, that it's different for a man, always turns into an argument about, oh, well, they did it for me. Well, I don't give a shit what they did for you. You're a woman. They treat you better. Even when they treat you like shit, they're still treating you better than they're treating us when they're treating us nicely. It sucks. But her opinions do matter. And her perspective.
At-risk situation, or an elderly adult in an at-risk situation, or a child in an at-risk situation. Even allegations are enough for them to start an investigation. And they're supposed to take the situation seriously and they're supposed to make a call to ATS immediately. They still haven't followed any of those protocols in the last 6 years. I went to all the services. They basically ran me around in circles and cost me all my money running around in circles. It's felonious, which is why I recorded it. That's kind of the reason they don't like it. I do record it. Well, that's one thing I noticed about CARE and nearly all of the services around here. A lot of where their funding comes from is to the people who are straight up homeless. All they ever get as far as services go is therapy over and over and over again. And that's not what we're sent there for. We're not sent there by the police or any of these other places for therapy. We're sent to them because by law they're supposed to help us to turn in any and all predators that commit crimes against them. Well, a lot of times that stuff flows off illegal too. But see, that's one of the things with a lot of people here. This is a different homeless society than I'm used to. In Boulder, Colorado, when I was homeless there, we worked together. A lot of people were sober. Most of us had jobs. Most of us didn't touch drugs or alcohol. But we all got judged that way because there was still the people who were most eyesore in society were the homeless people that were drunk and on drugs. Here, nearly all of the homeless people are drunk or on drugs.
I don't understand that. Where it is, because they're not getting canonized. You know, they're judged for being sick.
A lot of them are getting sick. Some of them are getting disability money. And that does actually help out and prevent them from stealing from people all the time. That's,
I think it's a good argument that you can't all right.
yup.
I think, like, last night, nobody even had the full time out. No one. I mean, I was daylight it. There was still again.
Alexander came by this morning to get him. He usually comes by at night to get him, but last night he wasn't able to. And he came right after another guy cleaned him out, and then Christian came by right after that. But he usually waits until, there's Christian down here.
I'm here.
You were having a drama queen moment. You needed the attention. You did the whole Sasha Shantae thing. How bizarre. Well, one of the things is, like, for me, I'm a male. I'm not local. I don't have housing. And for a lot of us, people who think they just need to move elsewhere. I still have disabilities, but I also have severe trauma, like head trauma and physical issues from a lot of abuse. And, you know, a lot of people don't understand that I have those issues. I try to explain to them the situation. A lot of times they don't understand that they're overwhelming. Or a lot of people don't understand that the reason I don't look them in the eyes is because I'm autistic. If I have to look you in the eyes and focus on looking you in the eyes, I can't focus on it, you know, so I can't even hear what you're saying. And then there's the fact that when I'm overwhelmed, like here, I can hear TV, that right there, him talking, her giggling, and the stuff outside that's going on. And I have to still try to process all of that and have a conversation with somebody and try to hold myself on topic. Well, that's one of my issues too. People aren't aware of their surroundings. A lot of times something that's important will happen right in front of them and they're not paying any attention. I want to know it all. Well, I used to be able to believe that you should mind your own business as a hobo. That's kind of how people treat you. They get.
All right, so there's still an hour and 13 minutes and 43 seconds left. It's 8:47 a.m. here. I gotta be afraid to drive as always. Like I said, I gotta be afraid that I'm gonna get pulled over at any point in time because my speedometer don't work. Yesterday I did go down and check on the price of one, and it's over $130 for a little sensor for my car. I'm gonna pause this video for a minute and then we'll make a part 3. It's gonna take a while. See, this is the thing about not having a place to do it, not having the right equipment, having to run around in circles and spend all my money to get ripped off by these services. None of these mandated reporters will do their job, and getting Chris to fucking give a shit. When he says he's gonna do something, please take the time to fucking listen. When you say I'll be there at 8 and then it's a bunch of hanging out, you notice how I try to join in on the conversation, but also I'm trying to get it directed where I need people to listen, you know. And when that lady starts talking, like she's gonna talk for about an hour straight, you know, and we're about to get to that part.